While a calendar tells me it's July, the fog is rising off the water and it seems more like Christmas. I feel like a little kid waiting to open a present. While there's no denying, I get pretty excited anytime I go fishing. Today I'm getting a chance to experience some first. Fly fishing the Caney Fork River in my kayak, and having fishing guide Susan Thrasher lead the way to help unlock some of this river's secrets.
I'm just going to tie on right here an improved clinch knot.
Although I spend most of my time using spinning or bait casting outfits, I actually grew up fly fishing for rainbow trout. But I've never caught one of the big browns that Caney is known for, something I'm hoping to change today.
Fly fishermen are much too sophisticated to call this a bobber, so it is a strike indicator.
Yeah, I hope to see it go down a bunch of times.
And this is a rod, not a pole.
Whether you're fishing for bass or trout, the first step is figuring out at what depth the fish are feeding.
If I have to list some of the top reasons people don't catch fish out here, is that they don't pay attention to their depth. They get out of the car, they rig up their line, they put on their indicator, and then they don't change the indicator the rest of the day.
Susan has traded in her drift boat for a stand-up paddleboard as we float the river on a slow drift. We've got plenty of time, and being patient comes a lot easier in such a peaceful place.
The nice thing about drifting and floating along in the kayak is that you're basically keeping up with that current and the drift, so you'll get a much, much longer drift.
Susan certainly knows what she's talking about, and she knows this river, so I'm ready to follow her suggestions.
We're just going to let it float just as natural as it can.
Okay.
So as soon as it lands, you're just going to leave it right there on the water and just let it drift to make sure that that indicator goes down first. There he is.
All right. Oh!
Oh,
How cool
nice
is that?
job.
Who says you can't talk somebody into catching a fish? That's a pretty nice one, or it feels like it is.
A civil engineer by profession, Susan discovered a passion for fly fishing on a weekend adventure with her father.
Somehow I caught a fish that day, and I'll never forget it. It was that fly was just going right downstream. The fish grabbed it, and the rod just doubled over. And I played it in, actually was able to pull it in and release it. But every little wiggle of that fish and the sound of the current all around me, I just thought, you know, I love this.
Soon, everything she did involved fly fishing, from buying equipment to taking classes, learning to handle a drift boat, and traveling out west for clinics.
You know, that's one of the things I like about fly fishing is it's constant learning. You don't ever know it all. And even after fishing now almost 15 years, I'm still learning one thing after another.
Along with that knowledge came the realization that she loved teaching people how to fish.
And I found that I was enjoying answering questions and helping other people as much as I was enjoying fishing myself. And I thought, you know, I bet not everybody is like that. So the more I started looking and researching into it, I thought, you know, I think I have a gift in that I don't have to have a rod in my hand. I can actually fish virtually through other people.
As Susan spent more time on the river, she dreamed of spending all her time there.
And I would see some of the wide open fields and just dreamed about, wow, it'd be so great to have a place where you could wake up in the mornings at your house, step out your backyard, and just be right there.
In 2010, the dream became a reality when Southern Brookies fly fishing, complete with vintage trout-speckled campers, became her new riverside business.
When people say life starts at 40, they're doing it all wrong. It starts every day. When you get out there, especially when you get outside, you'll hear something, see something, experience something again that's new, and you're always gleaning information from nature or from another person. And when you find somebody that feels the same way you do about the outdoors, that's truly a gift.
There's quite a few conventional fishermen that really are interested in trying a fly rod. You know, it's something a little bit different, and they just want to try it out, see what the casting's like, the whole technique.
Susan claims she has to work harder to teach us bass fishermen the finesse of fly fishing, learning not to snap our wrist with a strong hook set.
And once they figure that out and they know that it's not about the power, you got to be patient, then they love it. They absolutely love it.
Oh man, what a pretty fish.
Now this is what I love, landing my very first brown trout.
Now, I thought Joey did an amazing job, and that's the thing. Joey is a professional and is a guide himself, and like we both think, you know, you're always learning, and it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, you can always learn something from somebody. And Joey was casting them right in the right spot. He had a great cast, and his hook sets were just perfect.
Coming from an experienced fly fishing guide like Susan Thrasher, that's high praise. and then I'll sit back and enjoy our float down the Caney Fork River.
It's really a sanctuary. Once you step out here into the river, I mean, you're in a whole different world, and everything else is left behind. And you get off the river in the afternoon and you really feel like you've been somewhere that's completely stress-free. Paddling, casting, no, there's no bad days on the river, ever.
Sounds a lot like Christmas to me. I'm Joey Monteleone on the wild side.